It seems like just yesterday where Josh Allen was selected by the Buffalo Bills in the first round of the 2018 NFL Draft. And since then, it's been 7 full seasons of Josh Allen being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, at least since 2020. He's been a top 5 quarterback at the minimum. And we saw in 2024 everything come together. By far the least amount of turnovers he's had. By far the least amount of times he's been sacked in a season. And winning the MVP and bringing the Buffalo Bills to the AFC Conference Championship. Now, it was another year where the Buffalo Bills seemingly had a disappointing end to the playoffs. 29-32 loss in Kansas City. And it just was another year where it ends on the foot of Harrison Butker kicking the game-winning field goal against the Buffalo Bills. Even with a few minutes left in the game, the Buffalo Bills seemingly just weren't able to put that last drive together and win the game at the end. But now we're into 2025. And I think part of what helped bring Josh Allen to that MVP caliber that he was at last year was the fact that he was really the last guy left from the previous iterations of the team. There was no more Stephon Diggs. There was no more, a lot of guys were new to this team. You look at Mac Hollins, you look at Keon Coleman, and you look at the newly reliance on guys like Dalton Kincaid, on guys on the defensive side of the ball. And now you look at how this team has attacked free agency this year. Starting with the losses, they didn't really let too many guys go. You have Mac Hollins, Sam Martin, Will Clapp, and Casey Toohill leaving. And you also see Kaiir Elam get traded to the Dallas Cowboys. But for the re-signings and signings for the Buffalo Bills, they made a conceited effort, especially on the defensive side of the ball, to add playmaking to this team. Now, Derek Forrest and Dane Jackson come to this team to help in the secondary, but it's really the pass rush of this team that has been added to. You add to a group that already had guys like AJ Epinesa and Greg Rousseau and Ed Oliver. You add guys like Larry Ogunjobi, Michael Hoyt, Joey Bosa. You have now 5 to 6 guys who are able to rush and get after the quarterback, get after the run. And especially in cases of guys like Michael Hoyt, you can play them pretty much anywhere on the front 4. And you're still armed with your first-round pick and many other picks in this year's draft to be able to add to this defense. But I honestly feel like between everything that they've done, they also extend Christian Benford, who is the number 1 cornerback for this team. You look at what this team did. They added also another receiver. I think you trade out Mac Hollins for Josh Palmer. You got better there. You obviously got better in the pass rushing department. And this is a team now who they didn't have very many flaws to their game last season, and they still somehow are getting even better. Now moving to the draft for Buffalo, we have 10 selections overall. 3 of those selections come within the first 62 overall picks. And look, Buffalo is in one of the better positions in this year's draft. All they really need to do is just keep on adding the top available talent. And this is a team where, they have 3 compensatory picks coming to them in the 5th round. They have 6 selections between the 4th, 5th, and 6th round. And they really have a chance, especially with the number 30 overall pick. I guess it somewhat depends on how you feel about the development of Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid and even guys like Khalil Shakur and James Cook in the passing game. But to me, it feels like just keep adding talent to that outside perimeter ability that this team has. And I will say as well, there is some noise about James Cook is wanting to get a certain amount of money, and I'm not going to say he does or doesn't deserve it. I think he's playing in a really good offense with the best quarterback in the NFL, and having a guy who possibly could hurt the offense as a whole in James Cook's case, if he's going to have any holdout or if he's going to be a detriment to the team as a whole, then you look at getting somebody like Omarion Hampton, you look at getting somebody like Caleb Johnson or one of the Ohio State running backs in that first or second round. That's really what I would do. And if it is the wide receiver position, I think you're in a great spot. You're going to get one of Matthew Golden, Luther Burden, Emeka Ibuka, even if you want to wait into the second round and get somebody that is maybe not as heralded, but is as talented and can bring as much production as some of those first round talent names that I mentioned. Free agency period this year for the Buffalo Bills, I'm giving them an A+. They addressed everything in terms of actual needs that they had. They addressed it. The only thing they really didn't do was add to the offensive line. They do sign Kendrick Green, but they don't make much improvement upon that, but they were probably one of the better offensive lines in the NFL last year. Josh Allen was sacked only 14 times, and the running game led by James Cook and also led by Josh Allen. They had a very good time last year making sure that they were a very good running team. So I don't think really much was needed to be added there. And defensively, I mean, you add pass rushing, you add that position that you really needed to improve upon, which was getting after the quarterback and adding ability to limit the run.